Everyone said the German engine was finished. Every Brussels regulator, every climate commission, every electric vehicle evangelist on social media told the world the same story. The combustion engine is dead, and Germany's century-old engineering empire is going down with it. BMW didn't agree. And what they've been quietly building in Munich, while Mercedes was burning billions on an electric strategy they would later abandon, while Audi was canceling EV platforms before they even launched, while Volkswagen was restructuring an entire workforce, might be the single most clever counter-move in the global automotive industry. Because BMW didn't just refuse to kill the engine. They engineered an engine so good, so versatile, so far ahead of what anybody thought possible that it makes the entire EV-only argument look outdated. Let's talk about it. To understand what BMW is doing, you first have to understand what just happened to the rest of Europe. For the last 5 years, every major European automaker was told the same thing: electrify or die. The European Union set a hard 2035 deadline to ban combustion engines. Governments handed out EV subsidies like candy. Brussels promised that by 2030, half of all new cars would be electric, and the legacy automakers panicked. Mercedes-Benz announced an electric-first strategy. They poured billions into a dedicated EV platform called EVA. They built the EQE, the EQS, the EQE SUV, the EQS SUV. They told shareholders that 50% of their sales would be electric by 2025 and 100% by 2030. Then, reality hit. Mercedes had to cancel their MB.EA large platform before it ever reached production. They walked back the 2030 EV-only promise. They quietly admitted their EQ-branded electric cars had lower charging speeds than Korean EVs costing one-third the price. Audi did the same. They built their PPE electric platform, launched the Q6 e-tron, and watched as sales failed to meet projections. Volkswagen restructured its entire EV division. Across Germany, nearly 50,000 automotive jobs were lost in 2025 alone. And BMW, a company everyone called slow and behind the times for years. BMW sat there, watching, planning, and building something different. Now, let's be honest, EVs are not going away. They're growing. Tesla's still selling cars. BYD is now the largest EV maker in the world. Charging tech is improving every year. The technology is real, and millions of people are buying these cars. But here's the part. Nobody in Brussels wants to say out loud. The all-electric future has problems. Real ones. Mercedes EV sales targets collapsed. Audi cut production at multiple plants. Tesla just reported its first-ever annual sales drop. Even Volvo, one of the loudest voices in the EV-only camp, quietly delayed its 2030 all-electric target. Charging infrastructure across Europe and North America still has massive gaps. Cold weather kills battery range, and Germany has a lot of cold weather. Apartment dwellers and rural buyers still don't have a clean answer. The grid in most countries can't handle tens of millions of EVs charging simultaneously. Battery degradation is still a long-term unknown for resale, and the entire EV battery supply chain, the lithium, the cobalt, the nickel, the cell manufacturing, is dominated by China. Chinese EV makers now control more than 70% of global EV production. 6 of the world's top 10 electric vehicle sellers are Chinese companies most European consumers couldn't pick out of a lineup. None of this means EVs are bad. It means betting the entire future of the automobile on one technology controlled by one country might not be the smartest play Germany has ever made. And that's exactly what one man has been saying for years. Oliver Zipse is the CEO of BMW. He took over in 2015, and from his very first major interview, he refused to play along with the EV-only narrative. He's been the loudest voice in European auto leadership, saying what the industry's silent majority was thinking, but afraid to say out loud. In September 2025, in an interview with Politico, Zipse called the EU's 2035 combustion engine ban, and these are his exact words: a big mistake. He didn't stop there. At the Paris Automotive Summit, he told the global press that the EU's plans were no longer realistic. He warned that the rushed transition would lead to a, quote, massive shrinking of Europe's automotive industry. He pointed out the absurdity of the regulatory approach. The car makers face strict targets. The fuel makers, the Shells and the BPs, face no targets at all. He said setting arbitrary future dates ignores the actual emissions across the entire supply chain, including battery production and electricity generation. He called EV subsidies unsustainable. And then he said the line that should be carved into the side of every European auto plant, e-mobility, as the sole technology leads to a dead end. That should be obvious by now. For 3 years, Zipse was the only major European CEO saying this publicly. Mercedes called him conservative. Volkswagen called him slow. The press said BMW was falling behind. Then, one by one, every single one of them started walking back their EV-only promises. The world started catching up to what BMW had been saying all along. So what exactly is BMW building? This is where it gets serious. BMW's strategy is built around something they call technology openness, and at the heart of it is a single, devastatingly good engine, the B58. And if you don't know the name, here's why you should. The B58 is a 3.0-liter turbocharged inline-six gasoline engine. BMW launched it in 2015. Most engines today have a 5 to 7 year lifespan before they're replaced. The B58 is now in its 11th year of production, and BMW just announced it's still being upgraded for the future. The numbers are staggering. The B58 has been deployed across 41 different vehicle applications. 41? From the BMW 3 Series to the X7. From the M24 OI Coupe to the 7 Series luxury sedan. From the X5 SUV to the Z4 Roadster. It has won Ward's 10 Best Engines Award 5 times, in 2016, 2017, 2019, 2020, and 2024. But here's the part that genuinely shocks engineers. The B58 is so good that other car companies are buying it from BMW and putting it in their own cars. Toyota uses it in the GR Supra. Morgan uses it in the Plus 6 and the Super Sport. The Ineos Grenadier, a British off-roader meant to replace the original Land Rover, runs on a B58. Engines almost never cross brand lines in the modern auto industry. It's a violation of brand identity. It's a competitive nightmare. And yet companies keep going to BMW and saying the same thing. We need your engine. Nothing else is good enough. The latest version, the B58 TU2, just rolled out in late 2025. It produces 386 horsepower and 540 Newton-meters of torque, with a 48-volt mild hybrid system adding another 17 horsepower. Fuel consumption is down. 0 to 100 times are sharper. 10 years after launch, this engine is still getting better. The next version, the B5 8TU3, is expected to push the upcoming BMW 740 to 400 horsepower. The new BMW M350 is being engineered to deliver 417 horsepower, and the highest output version, in the Toyota Supra A90 Final Edition, already produces 429 horsepower from the same basic block. This isn't an engine being phased out. This is an engine that BMW is engineering to keep producing well beyond the 2035 EU deadline. But here's where BMW's strategy gets genuinely brilliant. They're not just keeping the engine alive, they're making it work with every fuel the future might require. Synthetic e-fuels, HVO, 100 renewable diesel, E25 ethanol blends, hydrogen. The B58 platform and its M performance sibling, the S58, were engineered from the start with multi-fuel capability in mind. BMW's argument is simple. There are over 250 million combustion vehicles already on European roads. Tomorrow's fuel matters more than tomorrow's powertrain, because most of the cars driving in 2040 are already on the road today. And then there's the engine that proves BMW isn't just preserving the past. They're engineering a hydrogen-powered future the entire industry said was impossible. In September 2025, BMW announced that the iX5 Hydrogen will enter full series production in 2028. This isn't a concept. This isn't a science project. This is a real production vehicle built on the same assembly line as the gasoline X5, the diesel X5, the plug-in hybrid X5, and the fully electric iX5. 5 different powertrains, 1 vehicle architecture. No other automaker on Earth offers this kind of flexibility. The iX5 hydrogen runs on a third-generation fuel cell system co-developed with Toyota. The fuel cell takes hydrogen from the tank, reacts it with oxygen from the air, and produces electricity that drives the wheels. The only thing that comes out of the exhaust is water vapor. The numbers are extraordinary. Range: up to 750 kilometers on a single tank. That's roughly 470 miles. More than any fuel cell vehicle on the market. More than the Toyota Mirai. More than the Hyundai Nexo. More than most luxury electric vehicles. Refueling time, under 5 minutes. Not under 30 minutes. Not under 20. Under 5. Cold weather performance, and this is the part that should keep every EV executive in Stuttgart awake at night. In BMW's testing, the hydrogen system delivered full performance from the moment of startup, even in extreme cold. There was no range loss in winter, no degraded power, no 30% reduction the way batteries suffer. Why? Because a fuel cell generates excess heat as a byproduct of converting hydrogen to electricity. The car heats itself for free. A battery EV has to use precious battery energy to run a cabin heater, destroying its winter range in the process. The pilot fleet has already tested in over 20 countries, including Japan, South Korea, China, Australia, South Africa, the United States, and across Europe. Over 1 million test kilometers completed. Sand, dust, 45 degrees Celsius heat, below freezing winters, it worked everywhere. The iX5 hydrogen will launch first in Germany and France in 2028. Toyota and BMW are jointly investing in the refueling network through an industry-led initiative called Hydrogen Mobility at Scale. The German federal government has put 273 million euros, about $320 million, into the program through the High Power Drive project. Now zoom out. While Mercedes was canceling EV platforms and Audi was missing sales targets, BMW was quietly engineering a vehicle that doesn't make you choose. You want a luxury SUV that emits nothing? Hydrogen iX5. You want a luxury SUV with a battery for daily use? Plug-in hybrid X5. You want long-range pure electric? iX5 BEV. You want classic combustion? B58-powered X5. Same platform, same factory, same dealer. This is what BMW means by technology openness. But the crown jewel of BMW's engine strategy, the one that proves they're not just preserving combustion, but redefining what it means in the electric age, is what's coming for the M division. In 2028, BMW will launch the next generation M3, internally codenamed G84, and it will be the most controversial M3 ever built because it will exist in 2 forms simultaneously. There will be an electric M3 built on the new Neue Klasse EV platform, and there will be a combustion M3 powered by an upgraded version of the legendary S58 inline-6 engine, the high-performance derivative of the B58. The combustion M3 will retain rear-wheel drive. It will offer a 6-speed manual transmission. It will produce, according to insider reports from BMW blog, around 523 horsepower in base trim, a clear bump from the current M3 competition's 503 horsepower. The CS and CSL trims will push beyond 543 horsepower. The new M2 CS, already revealed, extracts over 523 horsepower from the same engine family in a smaller, lighter coupe. These engines are getting mild hybrid 48-volt assistance. They're getting smarter, they're getting cleaner, they're getting more powerful, but they're not getting replaced. BMW's Chief Development Officer Joachim Post said it plainly. The brand's CLAR architecture is the platform that underpins every modern combustion, BMW, was designed from day one to coexist with the new Neue Klasse EV platform. Combustion engines will continue to be built on CLAR and FR architectures well into the next decade. EVs will be built on Neue Klasse. Hydrogen will be built on the modified X5 platform. 4 powertrains, 3 platforms, 1 company that refused to abandon any of them. Now zoom out one more time, because this isn't just an engineering story, it's a geopolitical one. Germany is in serious trouble. The country has lost over 100,000 manufacturing jobs in the last 2 years. Volkswagen is restructuring. Mercedes is downsizing. Audi is closing plants. The entire German economic miracle, built for over a century on engineering excellence and industrial precision, is facing its most serious test since reunification. Why? Because Germany made one strategic error. It bet that the rest of the world would follow Brussels into an all-electric future. It didn't. China dominated EV manufacturing through scale and state subsidies. The United States offered massive incentives to build EVs locally, pushing German exports out. Europe's own consumers, when actually faced with the cost and inconvenience of EVs, started buying hybrids instead. The German auto industry got crushed in the middle. BMW saw this coming. While its competitors were committing publicly to dates and quotas, BMW kept multiple platforms alive: combustion, plug-in hybrid, battery electric, hydrogen fuel cell. The argument from Zipse was always the same. The world isn't going to electrify on a single timeline. Different markets will need different solutions. Different climates will favor different technologies. Different infrastructure realities will determine different pathways. Last year, BMW sold over 426,500 fully electric vehicles, a 14% increase. EVs and plug-in hybrids together rose 18.5% in the first half of 2025. The first Neue Klasse model, the iX3, launches with a 900-kilometer range and the ability to add 300 kilometers in just 10 minutes of charging. And while Mercedes and Audi were cutting their financial guidance, BMW reported 8.8% global sales growth in Q3 2025. Over 588,000 vehicles in a single quarter. This isn't anti-EV. This is anti-stupidity. BMW is building EVs aggressively. They're just refusing to kill everything else in the process. Now let's keep it honest, because credibility matters more than narrative. The B58 is brilliant, but it's still a combustion engine. It still produces emissions, still requires fossil fuels, or expensive synthetic alternatives that don't yet exist at scale. Hydrogen has real problems. The refueling infrastructure barely exists outside Germany, Japan, and California. Building hydrogen stations is enormously expensive. Producing green hydrogen at scale, using renewable electricity to split water, is still economically unproven. The Toyota Mirai, despite being a brilliant piece of engineering, has been a commercial disappointment. The iX5 hydrogen will likely be the same when it launches in 2028, at least at first. BMW's Neue Klasse EV platform is a multi-billion euro bet, and analysts are openly warning that the company cannot afford it to fail. China sales are still soft. Tariff disputes are eating into profits. This is not a perfect strategy. It's a hedged one. And that's exactly the point. Here's what the data actually shows. BMW will sell more than 2.5 million vehicles in 2025. They're more profitable than Mercedes, more profitable than Volkswagen, more profitable than every legacy German automaker except possibly Porsche. Their B58 engine is in its 11th year and still winning awards. Their M division is launching new combustion-powered cars with manual transmissions in 2028. Their hydrogen iX5 is targeting 750 kilometers of range with 5-minute refueling. Their EV iX3 is targeting 900 kilometers of range with 10-minute fast charging. While Mercedes was canceling platforms, BMW was building 4 of them. While Audi was missing targets, BMW was beating them. While Volkswagen was restructuring, BMW was hiring engineers. That's not stubbornness. That's discipline. BMW's leadership has been remarkably consistent on this point. The combustion engine doesn't have to die just because regulators assumed it should. The right engine, clean, efficient, multi-fuel capable, electrified with mild hybrid assistance, has decades of life left in it. And the customers who actually drive these cars in the real world, in cold climates, on long highway trips, in places where charging stations don't exist, they want options. Oliver Zipse said it himself. Technology openness means following the markets, because markets evolve, but not all at the same pace. Toyota's CTO said something similar. He believes Toyota should keep making engines until the very end. BMW is taking that same philosophy and applying it to the engine that, frankly, no other automaker can match. The B58 is a masterpiece. The S58 is a monster. The hydrogen X5 is a glimpse of a future the rest of the industry abandoned, and the M3 of 2028 will still have a manual transmission, rear-wheel drive, and a turbocharged inline-six that revs to 7,000 revolutions per minute. The future of the automobile is not one technology. It never was. It's batteries where they work best. It's hybrids where range and convenience matter most. It's hydrogen where refueling speed and cold weather performance are deal breakers. It's combustion engines that keep getting cleaner, smarter, and more efficient, burning gasoline today, synthetic fuels tomorrow, and hydrogen the day after that. The companies that survive the next 20 years won't be the ones that made the loudest bet. They'll be the ones who saw the full picture while everyone else was chasing a single trend. BMW saw it. They were called slow for it. They were called behind for it. They were called dinosaurs for it. And now, while Mercedes is rebuilding, while Audi is cutting, while Volkswagen is restructuring, BMW is launching the most diverse, most capable, most technologically rich lineup any premium automaker has ever offered. The combustion engine is not dead. It's just being engineered by the only company that never stopped believing in it. BMW thinks they know what comes next. And after a decade of being told they were wrong about everything, the engine, the platform strategy, the pace of EV adoption, this might finally be the moment they're proven right.